Hey, Matt back from Loot Signal, and today I want to talk about some of my memories from the original launch and release of Diablo 2 back in the year 2000. So, this is my original copy here. I've had it now for over 25 years, and I want to talk about how I was able to get this copy and some of my memories first playing the game. So, let's start by talking about how I was able to get this collector's edition here. Back when Diablo 2 launched, I was about 9 or 10 years old, and as you can imagine, I had no money and I had no way to get this game. But I did have two legs and a heartbeat, and sure enough, I was going to find a way to get this game. Now, I remember hearing about it, seeing news, seeing trailers, talking to friends at school about it, and I knew that I had to get this game. I was an absolute fiend for the first Diablo, so when I saw that this was being released, I knew I had to figure out a way to get it. Now, as I mentioned, I had no money, but I did have one thing going for me. So I found out that this game was releasing June 29th in the year 2000, and my birthday just happened to be in the first week of July. So I was able to go to my parents, talk them into buying me this game, and they were even nice enough to give it to me on the launch day. So they went in, they pre ordered it, and this was the copy that I got here about a week before my birthday. And I am super happy to have this in my collection. Now, this is the collector's edition, and I do want to say that I didn't ask for this copy or this edition, and I'm not even sure why they got this one. But the only thing that I can think is when they went in to pre-order this at EB Games or electronic boutiques, that's what we had back then here in Canada. Nowadays, you might know it as EB Games or GameStop, but back then we had Electronics Boutique. So when they went in to buy this, the only thing that I can think is whoever was working there upsold them or talked them into getting me the collector's edition. And whoever that guy or girl was, I want to thank you because I'm super happy to have the collector's edition here. Now, this one I got here is number 17,210 out of 70,000. And again, super happy to have this. So, this was the original game that I got now over 25 years ago. Now, let's talk a little bit about my first experience starting up and playing the game. And the first thing I remember, and something that's super iconic, if you were there playing this at launch, you know about this, and it is the character selection screen. The character selection screen was super unique, super awesome. You saw all five characters standing around the campfire. If you select one, you got a unique animation, and it was a completely new way to do the character selection. You might look at this today and wonder what's the big deal, but back then, I can assure you, this was a big deal. And if you played this in the year 2000, this selection screen is ingrained in your mind forever. So if you think about other RPGs at the time, the character selection was often very menu heavy and very text based. So if you take another game, for example, like Baldur's Gate, which released a couple years before, the way that you create your character is a lot different, and it might take you even 30 minutes to an hour to create your character because you have to pick your stats, pick your skills, pick your class, tons of customization, tons of text, tons of menus. So Diablo 2 came out and they completely innovated here and did something very unique. And that was showing you all five of your characters around the campfire, giving you the ability to just point and click, enter a name, and jump right into the game. So you went from games where it might take 30 minutes, an hour to set up a character, to Diablo 2, where you're seeing all the characters in front of you, point and click, enter name, play, you're in within minutes. And it was a super unique experience. So, again, if you played this back in 2000, you know what I'm talking about, and it's ingrained in your mind forever. Now, let's talk about some of my memories actually playing the game. And the next one's not a good memory. So, let me explain. I remember playing, burning through Act 1, burning through Act 2. I'm loving the game. especially Act 2. Act 2 was awesome. And then I get to the cinematic at the end of Act 2, and I'm about to enter Act 3, the jungles or the swamps. And I remember right at the end of the cinematic, the game crashes. So I think it's a one off. I do it again, go into Act 3, game crashes. Do it again, game crashes. So this happens over and over. And long story short, I take the game back to Electronics Boutique, and it turns out I got a bad disc. So I don't know how common this was. I don't remember if you had to switch discs between acts or not, but whatever was the case, I had a bad disc. So I had to take the game back, and I couldn't get a new copy right away. So I gave them the disc, and I actually had to wait a few days before they were able to get me another copy. And I don't know if that's because they were sold out. I don't know if that's because I had the collector's edition, but it was a whole ordeal. And you can imagine, I'm playing this game, I get it on launch, I'm absolutely loving it, I'm making progress, and then the game crashes and I'm blocked at Act 3. So I remember just having to wait a few days, being absolutely frustrated, and then finally getting my new copy, getting into Act 3, and continuing on the game. So that's the first thing I want to mention. Uh, Not a great memory, but just a memory of my launch time with Diablo 2. And the next thing I want to talk about is one of the most iconic levels or areas in Diablo 2. And when I think about this game, it's one of the first memories that come to my mind. It's like the image I think of when I think of Diablo 2. And people might have different images, but this is what it is for me. And it's always Arcane Sanctuary. I don't know why. I don't know what it is about that place, about that level, but it's just ingrained in my mind. You know, the narrow walkways that you're traversing. And back then as a kid, it always to me looked like you were almost walking in space on some platforms. Super cool area, super cool map, and just something that I wanted to talk about because it's just a memory for me in Diablo 2 and an area that I will never forget. I don't know what it is about it, but love that area. Um, Couple other things that come to mind. The next one is something that was unique to Diablo 2 from Diablo 1, and that was set items. Set items were a huge deal, and it actually, for me at least, really increased the fun factor because it gave me something new to work towards. So being able to go after an entire set, you know, getting one set piece, wanting to get another piece, that opened up the trade system because everybody's trading to get their set pieces. And that's just something that I remember during launch, during playing Diablo 2, that I wanted to highlight because that was a big deal. That was a huge improvement over the first Diablo. And it's also something that they've taken away in Diablo 4. I don't know why. I loved it, but I would love to know your thoughts. Maybe drop a comment below. Do you like set items? Did you like them in Diablo 2? Do you think they should have been in Diablo 4? Let me know. But that's a memory I have about Diablo 2, just hustling and bustling, trying to get my set items or get the complete set. So I wanted to talk about that. Another memory that comes to mind is the Stone Ring of Jordan. Again, if you played in 2000, or even if you played now, the remake, the remaster, you know about the Stone Ring of Jordan. And it was a huge deal trying to get those rings, trying to get that ring, even one of them. It was a mission. Everybody wanted them. If you don't know, the ring gives you a +1 to all your skills, as well as some other buffs. Um, but that was a big deal. And I just remember day after day trying to get that ring, trying to get more of them. And it was almost like a currency of its own. You could trade those rings for whatever you needed. So it was a big deal trying to get them. And that's just a memory I have playing the game day in, day out, trying to get the stone ring of Jordan, or trying to get more of them, I should say. So that's a memory. The next one I want to talk about is kind of funny, actually. And I do wonder if anyone else remembers this or did this. But the way I learned about this was because someone did it to me. And it was kind of like a trade trick. So if you know in Diablo 2, the way the trade works is a menu opens, both people move their item into the trade menu, and then both players have to click this green checkbox. And when both players click it, the items trade. So this was almost like a Jedi mind trick trade move, and somebody did this to me, and that's how I learned about it. But basically, the way it would work is you'd put your item in, a really good item. You'd wait for the next player to put their item in, and then you Jedi mind trick them. You telekinetically wait and figure out when they were going to click that green check mark. And just before they did it, you pulled your item out, you hit the green check mark, they'd hit the green check mark, you'd get their item for free. So somebody did this to me. I fell for it. I was shocked. And then I just remembered doing it to other people. And it worked. But you had to be like, you really had to Jedi mind trick them. You had to get into their brain and time it absolutely perfect. But if you played back then, you might have had this happen to you. It happened to me. And I would love to know if anyone else remembers that, because I'm not sure I've heard anyone else talk about it. But again, let me know down in the comments below. So that's another funny memory I have playing Diablo 2 back 25 years ago. And the last thing that I want to talk about here is actually cow runs, or the cow level. Another iconic level, just something you never forget about Diablo 2. So if you don't know, the cow level was a secret level. You basically had to get a couple different items, and then you could open the cow level. So the cow level was just a secret area full of cows. It was a hard area. You could get good loot, good experience, but it was just something super iconic that the devs put into the game. And you gotta love it, their passion, and just the way that they allowed the players to have fun. So my understanding was that the cow level actually came from players in Diablo 1 asking the devs for a level of all cows. And the devs, being as awesome as they were, decided to actually add that into Diablo 2 based on their feedback, or I guess a running joke from Diablo 1. But that's how it was back then. You know, developers were doing fun stuff like that, putting Easter eggs. And that's just something I won't forget either about Diablo 2. So that's all. I just wanted to share some of my memories, some of the things that I remember from this iconic game 25 years ago. And I want to say that I haven't played this in years and years, like well over 10 years. I didn't play the remake or remaster. Um, but I just wanted to come and talk about this because it was such an iconic game in my childhood. Have tons of memories from it, more I could share, but I'm not going to go on for too long. So I want to know, what are your memories from Diablo 2? Leave a comment below. Tell me what you think. And if you like this video, please give me a thumbs up, give me a like, and subscribe if you want to see more. I got a lot more content coming. And that's it. Thanks for listening. Have a good day.